Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to your first class in international trade and finance. So I just want to tell you what are the different topics that you will cover in international trade and finance. Okay? So first we will be learning what is international trade and what are its importance. This is a very simple module and I am sure you will be able to understand it very well, and that is the base for your learning international trade. And then you will go on to see what are the different theories of international trade. Now, why do we learn theories of international trade? You know, these theories will give you a base for the reasons for international trade. You know, I hope you know what is international trade, right? International trade is nothing but trade among nations. So trade between nations is called international trade. So why this international trade takes place? The reasons behind or the causes behind international trade will be discussed in the theories of international trade. That will be the only some difficult portion, but it's very easy if you try to understand. So we have mainly four theories which you learn. The first theory is a mercantilist view of international trade. Mercantilism is a economic policy that has been practiced in England, the European nations, European countries during the 16th, 17th and early 18th centuries. Okay, so what was their view of international trade? You will learn first, and secondly you will learn as an improvement over that theory, the Adam Smith has developed another theory which is known as absolute cost advantage or absolute advantage model. And then after absolute advantage you will see another theory which is also a development over the absolute advantage model, that is developed by David Ricardo, and that theory is known as comparative cost advantage or comparative advantage model. And then you will see one more theory that is known as Heckscher-Ohlin theory. It's a theory developed by two Swedish economists, Eli Heckscher and Bertil Ohlin. All these theories, what do they explain? They explain the causes of international trade or what are the reasons of international trade. So having that as a basis, you will learn again what are the different topics that are dealt or what are the different issues that you observe in the international trade. That often comes in the newspaper, and you will be able to have a good judgment on that. And what is that? That is the foreign exchange and balance of payment. So foreign exchange is what? Foreign exchange means not exchange between foreign countries. Foreign exchange is the foreign currency. Okay, foreign currency. And we know that in order to have trade with other countries, we should have foreign currency or the country's currencies with us. So how do we get that currency? Okay. Now next one is how do we the various problems associated with the foreign exchange that you have seen. You might have noticed heard in the newspaper. It's like there's something called appreciation and then something called depreciation, some devaluation, then revaluation. All these problems do you observe, or all these issues that you see in the newspaper, you will be learning what it is. Okay, and then also, of course, what is foreign exchange rate? The rate, foreign exchange rate is nothing but the rate at which one country's currency is exchanged for another country's currency. So different countries have got different currencies, right? So you will be learning why some countries' currency is more valuable than other countries' currency. Okay. and that is called foreign exchange rate, the exchange rate appreciation. And when the country's currency is not so valuable, then it's called a depreciation. Okay, and then we'll also learn one of the important problem which every nations face, or every nations has this particular account called BOP, balance of payment account. Every country keeps an account on international account of the account of their economic transactions with the rest of the world. That is called a balance of payment. Why it is called balance of payment? What are the components that are included in balance of payment? This is what we learn in balance of payment account. Okay, so we have just 4 topics only, so you don't get worried up at all, and you will be learning in details what it is. Okay, so just 4 topics, that is international trade and its importance, and then you will see trade as an engine of growth, and then you will see basic theories of international trade. Right? Why trade is considered as an engine of growth? Physics students will clearly be able to tell what are the functions of an engine. Or everybody can tell that, but then they will be able to say it better way. So international trade is considered as an engine of growth. What is growth? So every word is very important. What is growth? What is an engine? What's the function of an engine? Okay, so international trade is considered as an engine of growth, and you can see very well, you clearly, if I ask you, you will surely quote the example of China. China's growth is made possible through international trade. That is through exporting cheaper commodities to different markets, including India, America, or other countries. They export cheaper commodities. That is why their economy is booming. Now they are even have come to the position to attack their neighboring nations, countries. So that is the trade as an engine of growth, and then you will learn what are the basic theories of international trade. As I told you, there are 4 theories which you have to learn, and then come to the last portion, that is foreign exchange and balance of payment. Okay, now I think we can start with what is international trade. Before starting international trade, let us learn what is trade. The commerce students will say trade is an exchange between exchange of goods and services. Right? Then what is international trade? In the trade, what happens? It is an economic activity, first of all, trade, because it generates some income. All income generating activities are called economic activities. And what you learn in economics is nothing but economic activities. And the economic aspect or commercial aspect of man's life is studied in economics. And one of the portion of this economic activity is exchange. There are 4 economic activities: production, consumption, distribution, and exchange. So entire economics is centered around, you can say, in these 4 economic activities: production, consumption, distribution, and exchange. We know that we need commodities to consume. For that we have to produce, so production. And then next is consumption. For what we produce is for consumption, to satisfy human wants. So consumption is the use of commodities for the satisfaction of human wants is called consumption. Okay, and third economic activity is distribution. What is distribution? You know what is production? Production is a transformation of inputs into output. Some inputs are there. What are those inputs? The inputs in economics are called mainly 4. All the resources are included in this 4: land, labor, capital, and organization. Land, labor, capital, and organization. Land, labor, capital, and organization. Okay, organization. These are the 4 important resources which we learn in economics, and that are also known as the factors of production. Factors of because it helps for production. So what is production? Transformation of inputs into output. So what are these inputs? These resources are called the inputs. Okay. Now what is output? These inputs are transformed, completely transformed into a product. That is called the output. So production is the transformation of inputs into output. Okay. Now what is consumption? What is produced is for consumption. So the use of the commodities for the satisfaction of human wants is called consumption. Okay. So there are 4 economic activities. I can rub here. I hope it is clear to you. 4 economic activities. Economic activities. That is production, consumption, distribution and exchange. Okay, exchange. Okay, exchange. So so these are the 4 economic activities, and we have seen what is production and then consumption. Third one is distribution. What is distribution? Sharing of income among the factors of production. Now these are the factors of production, right? These factors of production are employed in the production process, right? So when they are employed, this is fully not employed, they are giving their factor services. So when they are employed, they should get some reward. That reward is known as sharing of income. That's a reward. Among the factors of production is called distribution. So what is the reward? They get reward, land gets reward as rent, labor gets reward as wages, capital gets reward as interest, and organization gets reward as profit. So in commerce you study only this aspect of it. The organization, the profit, how the entrepreneurs are getting profit, what are their motives, how are they able to get more profit, all these are dealt in only in commerce you will learn this. Okay, this aspect of it. Okay, and so this together, so rent plus wages plus interest plus profit is equal to the income. Okay, this income is shared among the 4 factors of production. Factors of production will not get any reward. Who is getting? The owners of the factors of production is getting a reward. And that is why it is known as distribution is the sharing of income or national income, we can say, among the factors of production for their contributions in the production of goods and services. And the last part comes here, exchange. And what is exchange? That is precisely we are going to learn. Exchange not in the national level but international. What is exchange? Exchange means buying and selling of goods and services. Buying and selling of goods and services. We know that our life very much depends upon this exchange. If there is no exchange, we cannot consume the commodities. Of course, there should be production, and that production will get factors of production will get some income. That income will create demand for goods and services in the market. Okay, so exchange is buying and selling of goods and services. So when this buying and selling of goods and services takes place within the domestic territory of a country, it is known as internal trade or domestic trade. Okay, when it takes place among the nations or between the countries or across the borders of a country, it is known as international trade. Understand? So international trade takes place in 2 forms. What are those 2 forms? The export and the import. So I think we can wind up today. So this is the basic lesson which you will be learning in the first class. You already learned. So this is a basis of International trade, so it comes from the economic activities. There are 4 economic activities: production, consumption, distribution, exchange. The entire economy is centered around these economic activities. Whole our life is centered around these economic activities, if you observe clearly, carefully. And then you see, you are learning now the last part, that is the exchange of goods and services, buying of goods and services. When it takes place within the economy, it is known as internal trade or domestic trade. When it takes place between countries, it is known as external trade or international trade. International trade has got 2 components, that is export and import. What is export? Selling of domestic goods and services in a foreign country. Yes. What is import? Buying of foreign goods and services by the domestic country. So export and import. I hope it's clear to you, students. So I wind up, otherwise our data will not be sufficient enough to upload. So all the best. Goodbye to you. I hope you will learn clearly and come to me if you have any doubt. Okay.